G'day, I'm Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, and I'm down the back here in our poultry pen. I've had a few requests lately from people wanting me to do an update or a general update on the poultry. Some people are interested in the quail we keep, some are interested in the ducks, some want to update on the chickens or just the pen overall. So I've been working a lot in the garden, and I guess it's time to do a quick update on the pen and show you guys a bit around. I thought I'd just run through what I sort of do on a morning routine. You'd be surprised that for a pen this size, like I've got about 13 ducks, I suppose, about 13 chickens at the moment, I think about 20 or so quail. You'd think that it'd take a real lot of work, but it doesn't really. There's many times that I can just come down here and have a quick look around, grab the eggs, make sure the feeders are topped up, make sure there's water, then just let them out free ranging, let them out of their pen, walk around, everything's cool, and I just go back and do some work. There's rarely times where I have to do quite a lot of work down here. Maybe every 6 months I might clean out the quail pen and clean out the chicken coop, maybe a little bit more in the chicken coop, do their nesting boxes and that type of thing, but it doesn't necessarily take me hours every day. It could just take me 15 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes of work down here, and then I'm off doing something else. So it's not that hard of work to keep chickens and other breeds of poultry. One day I'm going to keep turkeys, that's the next one on my list. I wouldn't mind one for a turkey dinner for, say, Christmas or Thanksgiving, you guys over in the US if you're listening. So today I'm going to go around and just give you my thoughts as I get into my normal daily routine here. I do have to fill up some of the feeders, and you might remember that I did a video on a DIY, a really basic DIY bin feeder for chickens and ducks. Works great and it's really easy to do. If you haven't seen that video, go and have a search for it, or I'll put a link to it below. But what I'd really like you to do is go and check out UK Here We Grow's channel and a video that they've done, or Tony specifically has done, on an adjustment to my bin feeder. So they've improved it, and when I made that video I said, look guys, this is just the basic model. If you want to add to this or improve on it, go ahead, and I want to see what you've done, because you know it'd be pretty interesting. So that's what Tony did. He's made a video about it and let me know. Gave me a bit of a shout out as well, which I'd like to do here, and made a improved version of my chicken bin feeder. He's made one that has larger capacity. Pardon this plane going overhead, it might crash into my chicken pen. That'd make a good video. He was flying a bit low, but I'll just persist through it. So he's put an extra cylinder in the middle, and he's made a dome down the bottom to make the feed fall out easier. And he's increased the capacity of his bin feeder from my design considerably. So I want you to go check that out. Here's the video up here, or in the description below after you've seen this one. Okay, before I sweat to death, because it's pretty muggy out here, we had some rain yesterday, I'll get into refurbishing this poultry pen. Okay, this is the other side of my pen. I've got a couple of holding pens there, a bit of a shelving sort of thing down the back. It used to be my old raised quail pen, which I pretty quickly stopped using, but now I just use it to put some stuff on behind those holding pens. Then I've got my inner duck pond that they use when they're trapped in their pen and they can't get to the dam. At the moment there's a bunch of ducks around the dam, the duck pond, which is outside of the security of the poultry pen, but still within a secure dog-proof boundary fence. This here gets really murky really quickly, and it gets to a point now you can see it's all pretty scungy. It turns into what I call duck juice. This stuff here ferments and full of duck poop and it gets all yucky. They stop swimming in it and they stop using it. and that's fine. I'll just leave it go all yucky, and then I put that stuff on my garden. So I either put it straight into a garden bed that's resting and then leave that garden bed for several weeks before I plant anything in it, or I just use this like a compost tea, water it down till it's nice and weak and put that onto the garden itself. It's brilliant. Duck juice, get into it. I'll do a proper video on that one day. But the first thing I do when I come down, I open and let the chickens out, is empty these duck buckets every day. I've got a little kiddie sort of pool or play pool down there, and I've got this large bucket here. Got this large bucket here, and so I'll empty them out, and while I'm refilling them, I can then start working on the feeders and refilling any feeders that I need to. I have a hose in my pen, makes it nice and easy. I had to dig this down from the very top with my wide water tank. It works off a pump that I switch on before I come down, and I've just dug the irrigation system in all the way down here and then installed this hose. You really have to wash these things out every day, otherwise they get yucky and stinky. Ducks are pretty messy like that. They get a mouthful of feed or dirt and then they come and sift it and filter it in their bucket. And a lot of that stuff and gunk pours out of their mouth into their bucket and quickly muddies the water up. So that one's washed out. Now this bucket here, the ducks have a good time getting into the tipped out muck, because then they can re-sift and eat the food that they dropped at the bottom there. And then switch this over onto soap, throw that in there, and I'll just let that fill up. And while I'm filling that up, I will do all the feeders. Now I've got a couple of mini feeders that I've made, my DIY type, the same type like Tony in Yukohiri Grow makes. Put that there. This is just made out of a bucket that I've made into feeders. You can see that the lid is really makeshift with a couple of bricks on the top. It's just from an old box, and it does the job really good. Two of them, and I've got a really big bin feeder that I made also. So I'll just get some feed. I'm using this Quilpy feed at the moment, or Cupy. It's a local guy who makes it. I get it from my local supplies place. It's a mixed mash with some wheat and a little bit of whole corn through it, so the ducks and chickens do get grains as well, but it's fairly fine, and I like it because the chickens like it, and this is actually a chicken layer feed, but the ducks like it too because they can get a really good billful and eat it. Whereas some of the other whole grains, they tend to have a little trouble eating. You know, maybe not, I don't know, but I know they like this. Like that on there, 2 bricks on top. That's one feeder done. Okay, I'll spin this around and we'll get into the other feeders. I like having several feeders because it just stops bullying from the ducks and the chickens. They can all get to their own feeder and get a feed. So if there's one or two birds that are getting bullied, there's a way that they can get out of the way and then go to another feeder. If, like this hen here runs and scares everyone off. There. And now my big bin feeder. This holds about 10 kilograms of feed. Okay, and that's the feeders done. And so I'll put the excess in this galvanised bin. Really good. Rodents can't get to it. Keeps it pretty fresh. And that's the chicken and duck feeders done. Now I've got to do the quail. So let's have a look at the quail pen. I generally just have a quick look in here, pick up any eggs, make sure that the drinker's got water in it. That's cool. You can see the mulch in here. Well, you can't probably see so much through this camera, but the mulch in here is breaking right down from a couple of months ago when I replaced it all. And I'm going to just leave it for a little bit more to break down a bit more, and then I'll add more mulch on top of this. I'm not going to clean it out just yet. I want it to build up a lot more than this yet, so it's worthwhile cleaning out. So I'll just throw clean mulch on top and let them break it all down again. I check their feeder out. Now it's got about half, so I can put some more in. Look around, grab a few eggs. I might fill up their drinker. I've got an inline nipple drinker. That's my main drinker. This one here is just a bit of fun for them to dip a beak. So there's the eggs. I can get, half a dozen to a dozen sometimes. And I'll fill this up. So I'll fill the bucket up now. That's that done, no more eggs. Everything's cool. Everyone's happy. Yeah, looking good. Quail pen done. Okay, we've got a few other ducks coming in now. I'll swing this around and show you. They've come down from the dam, which hasn't got much water in at the moment. We've had a really dry summer. And the first three you would have seen before, they are the old ones. They're the old mothers, and these are the offspring that have come in now. And it's sort of like I've got two different flocks. There's probably too many males. I've got to cull a few over the next month or so and have a bit of a feast of ducks, because you don't want too many males mating with the females, otherwise, they get shagged to death. Well, almost anyway, and no one would like that. Okay, so let's move up. Well, this part of the pen is looking like a bit of a schmozzle, because I've been meaning to finish building my run that comes off the coop here, or that will come off the coop. Anyway, all I need is a framework to go over the coop, and the reason for that is I need to make it snake proof, goanna proof and crow proof, so that they don't keep pilfering all my eggs. I haven't been able to get to this for the last month or so because I've been doing a lot of work up in the garden, and that's taken a priority for now. But when I can, I'll get back down here and finish this job off. Thankfully, we haven't had any large pythons this season coming in. The season's not over yet, summer's still here, so it's still quite warm. We might get a few snakes in yet, but hopefully not. We've had a couple of goannas, but they've been taking the duck eggs, because the ducks have been randomly laying everywhere. Here's a couple of duck eggs, and so I just pick them up as I go around. Once I build this in, I'll have a little duck area over here, and I'm going to make a little duck nesting area on the ground, fill it full of mulch and a little roof, and hopefully they'll start laying in there instead of all around the pen. That's the aim anyway. I'll just put them here for now. So what I generally do is come in, check the drinkers. Yeah, that drinker's good. That's my chicken drinker, that's duck proof. They jump up on the best of bricks and have a drink, and the ducks can't reach it. Feeder, good. I've got another drinker here. That's just a water drinker, duck proof again. Chickens jump up and drink the water out of that standard container. And then I've got another one here that's also duck proof, and that holds, I think it's 40 litres. So, you know, I can fill my drinkers up. May take maybe once a month and not worry about it. And after I've checked the drinkers, what I do then is go in and just check the nesting boxes, grab any eggs that I need to, and let's do that now. Alright, so in here I just have a look around. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad in here. The nesting boxes are alright, there's a few eggs. A couple of eggs. Put them to the side so the dog doesn't get them. If I need to top up a few of the nesting boxes, I've got my mulch in here ready to go. But that's just for example really, because honestly they're all fairly clean. Leave that there. And that's that done. The second bucket is full and running over the edge. You can see the ducks are having a great deal of fun. And you can see also why it doesn't take long for this to get dirty. They'll get in the mud and then they'll jump in their little kiddie pool, spit all through it. So I'll just turn that off. And here's a look from the other side of the pen. I guess the pen is about, I suppose a good 30 metres long. It's a bit of a kidney shape. It goes from where you are there all the way to here to the front door, and then off on an angle that way where I've got my holding pens and where the ducks mainly stay. And then you've got in the middle the quail pen. That's totally enclosed itself. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Come down, let the birds out into the free ranging area, check the drinkers, check the feeders, check for eggs, do a bit of a general clean up, make sure the birds are okay. And that type of routine can take me 10 or 15 minutes, or less. Don't forget to visit UK Here We Grow on YouTube. There's a link to their channel down below, and yeah, check them out. I think you'll enjoy their videos. Certainly if you enjoy my channel and you're into self-sufficiency, I think you'll like Tony and UK Here We Grow. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now.